Good evening and welcome to the Bench Jeweler and a new episode. This is a Ergos number 32 movement. This particular movement is kind of come from our scrap bin because it's a clock that couldn't be repaired or wasn't worth repairing. And I think what we did is we replaced it. So it's a good demo though. We have a customer out there, and he had received a clock or purchased a clock. I'm not real sure exactly, but I think he just received it. But it wasn't running properly, so they proceeded to do a cleaning on the clock and re-oiling it. And his problem that he's having is that the 4/4 wheel, which is right here, or the disc counter, whichever you prefer, but it's disc counter or 4/4 wheel, and this is the chime drive wheel. So it runs the quarter hour, which is 4 notes, half hour, which is 8 notes, 3/4 hour, which is 12 notes, and then back to the 12, and it does 16 notes. So what's happening with his is that the wheel is going all the way around and not stopping, and going back all the way around again, and then stopping at the 3/4 hour. So it's clear out of timing sequence. That's the problem, and he doesn't know how to fix that. And we're trying to get a video together here that can demonstrate how to correct a problem like that. Clocks can be complicated. Cleaning them isn't really all that complicated. And if you follow the videos that we've provided for you, you'll find that most of the time you can clean your clock and won't have any problems with it. But when a clock that you purchase, or one that's set for 8 or 9 years, and you're trying to figure out why it's not running, that could be a whole different game. So we're going to go through this just a little bit now, and let me get ready for it, and we'll be back. Redoing scene 2. Okay, what we put the minute hand on, and I'm only using this for just one demo. Then we're not going to use the minute hand anymore. But this here is your 4/4 wheel, or the disc counting wheel. You can call it either one of those, but basically it's a 4/4 wheel. And why it is because it has 4 counts, and it drives the chime hammers, which this one is just the Westminster. So it drives the hammers, and here's how it works. As this advances to the first cam, it plays 4 notes, and that'd be the quarter hour. On the half hour, it advances and plays 8 notes. And on the 3/4 hour, it advances and plays 16 notes. And then back around to the hump, this little hump right here, it plays that would be your 16 notes. And it also releases the strike gathering pin, so that the rack can count the number of strikes your clock's at. That's basically how this works. So I've got my hand on just a gear because I don't have the change in weights running this. Alright, so as the hand advances to the quarter hour, it's going to lift the long arm. That's going to trigger the warning gear and allow this to count out four notes. And I'll set this up so you can kind of see what's going on. Right, there's 1 note, 2, 3, 4, and it locks. And that's what it's supposed to do. Now we'll just get rid of the minute hand here. Now, when we lift the long arm again, she'll do 8 notes of the Westminster. And there's your 8 notes. Once again, We'll now do 12 notes. And it stops. And then the final one, going to the 12 o'clock position, it will do 16 notes. And that's how it's supposed to work. And it hits this hump here, and it releases the rack. The gathering pellet goes ahead and pulls the rack back up, and you get the number of strikes that correspond to the snail. All right, and we're locked. Now the customer's problem is that it's not locking down. It's going around again and then stopping at the 3/4 hour. Now I can kind of simulate that and explain how and what he might do there to correct that problem. Since that was a problem, I believe, that the clock had after they received the clock. So it wasn't something that he'd done after cleaning and oiling it. I'll explain a little of that too. So let's go ahead now, and I'll set this up for the problem that he has. The problem he has is when the minute hand is at the 3/4 position and he actually turns it to the 12, it triggers the 4/4 wheel, which it just did. So there's your first 4 count, but it didn't stop, and that's his problem. Here's the next one, didn't stop, and it's going all the way around, and it's not stopping. As you can see, it's just, I'm using my finger to drive the wheel, but it's not stopping. And it goes all the way around, comes up, drops the strike, and it should stop, but it doesn't. And it keeps going, and it goes all the way to the 3/4 time, right here, and then locks down. Alright, and then he sequence starts all over again, brings the hand up to the 12 o'clock, and the 4/4 wheel won't shut down, that chime wheel. So his problem is called a timing problem, and this wheel and on this particular clock, there's the cam levers are in the back that operate the warning wheel, and it is out of sequence. The timing mechanism is out of sequence. So we're going to have to try and figure out what caused that and what the remedy of it would be to fix. So now let's go ahead and bring the clock up to the right position here, and let me bring the let's see, why don't you bring the zoom in a little bit here. Let's see if we can get that's good. Alright, what we're doing here is there are 2 cams back here, and I'll point them out to you. They're, if I can see them. Okay, there's 2 cams here, and there's a warning pin. Let's see if we can find that warning pin. Let's go ahead and run this on around. There's the warning pin right here, as you can see it, right there, right in there. That's the warning pin, and when it hits the 12 o'clock position, it should shut down, and it should catch under this back one here. This forward one is a trip arm, which allows the strike to go off, and also it's a corrector arm. And what it does is it corrects the chiming if the chiming should get off. Suppose the customer or you go to set your clock because it's say it stopped, and you wanted to set it, and you advance it to the half hour from the 12, and you tripped it but didn't allow you took the minute hand too fast, and you didn't trip the 1/4 hour. So when you got to the half, the quarter hour actually tripped, and now you're off by a quarter of an hour. And that second cam right in here, let me get to it, right there, will correct that problem. It takes about an hour for it to go all the way around, and it will get your chimes back on corrected, so that your chime works with your quarter hour, your half, your 3/4, and your 12. Okay, so what's happened is, let's go ahead and advance this. Okay, we're just moving along. There's the warning pin. There's a warning pin coming up. All right, what's happened, okay, we're at the 3/4 hour, and what's happened here is that this should shut down when this long arm drops into this cam here. Okay, we're at the 3/4 hour, and this long arm should drop down into this cam here, and the warning pin, which is right here, should be back here, and it should catch right there. So it's advancing too far before it shuts down, and so the clock continues to go on around until it stops at the wrong position. And there's a fix for that. Now this is what's called out of time, and that warning pin, which is, once again, let me point to it. The warning pin, which is right there, should be back here. But you see, the problem is that the disc is out of line, and it's not catching it at the right time. So what we want to do to correct that when it's advanced, when the pin's past the levers, is we want to come back up here. I guess we'll just set this up down here, and let's go ahead and get this on around. Okay, so once again, the 4/4 wheel is out of time with the warning pin in the back, and the warning pin is too far advanced. So in order to retard it or bring it back in line, we want to undo the screw right here. You want to loosen it up, bring it back just a little bit, just so it's not quite touching there on the shaft. And then we want to retard the wheel by advancing it. So what we're going to do is, I've got my hands. Now let's go back here and take a look before we do this. Do not put your finger on this blade on the fan wheel. You'll bend this. It's such a small shaft, so you want to hold back here with one of these gears back here. So we're just going to hold it just with my fingers so that the gears can't move, and we're going to advance. Whoops, I moved that just. Alright, we want to advance. See if I can get. I moved that wheel just a little bit forward. We advanced it. Alright, and it may be a 1/16 of an inch. Now we are dead center on the top. We can't move any further. We now can adjust this just a little bit to the. There we go. Now we're back into sequence, or our timing's back. Snug that wheel down. Make sure I just use a screwdriver and tighten it up. Now we'll just advance it. We'll lift up the deal. Excuse me. And we'll see if she shuts down now. Ah, shuts down. That means that we're now in time with the 4/4 wheel and the warning pin, which is now clear to the back, underneath these cams here. And that's where it should be. And that is how you advance the timing. So his is probably doing exactly that. So he wants to undo the screw and move it forward, just so it's going this way. And you probably want to move it about 1/16 of an inch and then give it a try. What you're trying to do is see when this lever drops down into the cam, you want to look back here and make sure. Let's go ahead and bring this in just so you have a little more clarity to it. Okay, you can see the pin. The warning pin is right here. You can see the pin. The warning pin is right here, and you want to make sure it drops down into the cam back there. Once it's done that, then you're back in time. Oops, went the wrong way here, buddy. All right. So now once you move it 1/4 of an hour, you're going to trip the arm. And it's going to lock down. And that's how you fix that. So I hope that helps you out on that and gets your clock back to where it's supposed to be. So now I want to address a couple of things here. Clock cleaning isn't for everybody. It has a degree of complexity to it, yes. But if you watch the videos that we've demonstrated with, it shows you how to clean these, and most of the time you're not going to get yourself into trouble. We do have email service. We're a little slower than we would like to be. Generally we try to get back within an hour or so, but it's been taking longer because we're so short-handed right now. So my apologies for that, but you know, bear with me. We'll get to everybody, and I appreciate the comments when they're needed, so we can try and help other people along the way too. So I think you know, like I said, the clock cleaning isn't for everybody, but then eating spinach isn't for everybody either. You know, some people don't like spinach. Some people just aren't capable of doing this. So make sure before you clean your clocks that you've diagnosed it a little bit, you know, before you take it out of the case or clean it in the case. Make sure you know what it's doing. There's quite a few videos that tell you how to check these pivots. Make sure they're not so badly worn that no matter what you do, it won't work. But like this one here, this thing's, you can see the gear wobbling back and forth. There's 2 or 3 pivots in here that are just so badly worn that there's no way this clock would run. So that's why we want you to kind of make sure what it's doing, whether it's just slow times or the timing slowed down a little bit over the years. Generally speaking, if you just clean them and re-oil them, and make sure you clean them first. Don't just put oil in on those pivots. That's not a good deal. So, all right, I'm going to end this one and see if this will help the customer that is having a problem with his timing. Thanks for watching as always, and be safe and have a great weekend.